Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kerry and I love all things makeup and beauty related, especially when they are bright and colourful. Like this look I'm wearing today. I have been testing out the Colourpop Alice in Wonderland palette again because I need to review it, so I need to use it as many times as possible. But today we're going to be talking about a very special indie brand. It's one of my absolute favourite indie brands, Nomad Cosmetics. They are based in the US and I just want to swatch you my favourite shade from each of the palettes that I own from them. Okay, so I've just been counting and I think I actually own 10 of their palettes. I started collecting Nomad over a year ago now. I can't remember exactly when, but I love to try out new indie brands, especially when they've got nice, bright, colourful shades. That's the word. Look, everything has been going wrong today, including this makeup look. If you get up close, I mean, I have not got the perfect base or eye look today. It's nice from a distance, which is why I thought I would film this video where we're a bit further apart. I have got quite a few videos of Nomad palettes on my channel now, lots of first impressions and multiple look videos, so do check those out if you're interested. I haven't done a look with every single palette that I own from them, but the majority I think I have. Now, Nomad Cosmetics, like I say, are a US indie brand and I think they are fantastic. They base all of their eyeshadow palettes on destinations that they have travelled to. It's a lovely couple that owns the brand and they go there and they get inspiration for these colour stories, and with their profits from each of the palettes they pick a specific charity they want from that destination to give some of those profits to, which I think is fantastic. They all come with a little postcard explaining a little bit more about the region and where the charity is for that specific palette. Need I say more? Absolute beautiful. Now, Nomad are also one of my favourites just because their matte formula is one of my favourites. It is so reliable, it is so pigmented, buildable and blendable. I absolutely love their mattes with a passion. They have a different variety of shimmers in some of the palettes compared to others, depending on how old the palette was, because they've changed some of the formulas, or if they've done something a little bit different, I will show you as we get through. But enough of me waffling on. Let's pick up the first palette. The first one I've got on my little pile is the Nomad Fête de Provence palette. Now, I have got a video on this one and this wasn't too long ago, was it? I mean, I have no concept of time since lockdown. So this is what the outer packaging looks like. I always love the packaging from Nomad. I think it's fantastic. And this colour story in here, they always have a nice mirror. This colour story in here is super beautiful. I love it. I love the fact that we've got yellow and purple and pinky tones together and that they are all in columns so that you can just stick to a very monochromatic column if you want to. This one is going to be easy for me. Like I did think about doing a favourite matte and a favourite shimmer, but then that's a little bit cheating. I think I'm just going to pick one and I don't mind if it's a matte or a shimmer, but the one in this palette, I already knew before I opened it, to be honest. I didn't have to think about it long because it's this shade in the middle. It's called Fleur de Mimosa. It is absolutely stunning. I'm not just picking it because it's a shimmer, because I absolutely love mattes as well. But this one, let me swatch. This one has got a bit of a different reflect to it. It's yellow, but it's also sparkly and intense on the lid. It's a beautiful metallic-y sheen and it's got kind of a pinky, peachy sort of reflection to it, and on the lid this is absolutely stunning. So of course I had to pick this. It was a difficult one because I am very drawn to purple in general, so I could have picked one of those, but I just think it's a beautiful palette all in all. I love all of Nomad's palettes, so I'm probably going to say that for everyone, but that is definitely my favourite shade from this palette. Please do let me know if you agree. I have just swatched that on my arm, not that you can actually see anything, just because I thought it might be fun if I actually swatch all of these shades out on my arm as we go through. I feel like I've seen someone do one of these videos before and I can't remember who it is. Yeah, I can't remember who it is. If you remember, please do let me know and I will link them down in the description box because I do love these sorts of videos. So if I can link any other creators that actually did this before me, then I definitely will. But yes, that is the first one from that palette. Then we're moving on to Hudson Valley. Again, stunning packaging. Love this one, and inside it is a more neutral leaning colour story. You do still have bright pops of colour, which I love. Now this one is a lot more difficult because although I love the three shimmers that are included in the middle, I actually think the mattes in this are what draw me to want to pick this palette up and use it, especially around autumn time. But Did I do a 3-look video with this? Or was it a 2-look video? I can't remember, but I absolutely loved using this. I think every shade in this is beautiful, but I'm gonna go with Apple Picking, which is this bright red here, because the matte formula from Nomad, I really enjoy. It's one of my preferred formulas. Look at this gorgeous red. You know what would be really interesting? If in another video, I actually used all of the shades. I say all of them, I've got 10. I'll be picking 10 shades. I don't really know if I want to put 10 shades on my eye, but that would be really fun to actually use all of my favourite shades from each of these palettes. So I'm just going to swatch this. Where should I swatch it? Above it? I am not good at swatching this way around whatsoever. Then we have the Verona Amore Morte palette, and I love this palette. It is based on a Romeo and Juliet theme because it is in Verona. The packaging of this one is one of my favourites from Nomad, and the way that it opens with the 2 sides, and you have the death side and, when I can get the other side open, the love side. I just think they complement each other so well, and it's like having 2 mini palettes, but then of course you can combine them together. You get 2 mirrors in this. Now this is going to be difficult to choose because I think both sides are beautiful and there's a lot of shades in this palette. Okay, this might surprise some people, but I'm going to go with the shade Tragedy, and it's kind of a duochrome, not sure if it's a multi-chrome. It's like a plummy purple that sort of shifts to sort of a greeny silvery bronzy? Yeah, kind of like that. So it's called Tragedy. It is, I'll let it speak for itself. It's stunning, so metallic-y. Then we have a fairly new addition to my collection because my amazing friend Erin, thank you so much, sent me this palette because she knew I'd been eyeing it up on the website for quite a while. This isn't one of their newer releases, but the colour story of this spoke to me like no other. This is the Iceland Fire and Ice palette, and inside, like, I love the look I created with this palette. It's over on my Instagram. I love the colour story of this. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and the way that they've done the inside and the outer package, everything about this makes me very happy. The warm tones, the cool tones, and this nice green shimmer. Oh, beautiful. But which is my favourite? Okay, I'm going to go with Elves just because it's a little bit different. It's not just like a typical blue shimmer. It is, how can I describe this? It reminds me of like the surface of the moon. That is the only way I can describe this. And because it's that little bit different, it sort of just stands out to me in the palette. It's sort of a grungy blue shimmer. A grungy blue-grey, shall we say. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's a fairly accurate description. Then again, my lovely friend Erin also sent me this palette. This is the, what is it actually called? I know it's Tokyo. Yes, Tokyo, Japan palette. Look at the cute packaging of this. It is absolutely freaking adorable. Now this is a lot more pastel leaning, and you do have a matte pastel row at the top, then you have a satin row, then you have a shimmer row. And I didn't realise this was going to be as pigmented as it was. I remember digging into this thinking it's going to be a nice light wash of colour, but it was actually more pigmented than I was expecting. I was very pleasantly surprised, and I think it's just a beautiful palette. And you do still have a little bit of depth in here, which I like that. I like that a lot. But which would be my favourite shade? I remember using this one, which I cannot pronounce. I think it's Takenoko Zoku. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm so sorry if I've said that wrong, but it is a gorgeous, gorgeous purple. I love purple eyeshadow. I mean, green is my favourite eyeshadow, but I am a sucker for a purple, and these mattes just feel so buttery soft and smooth. Look at that. That is a stunning shade. It kind of matches my background nicely, and I'm going to put that with the other shades because it's gorgeous, and I'm crumbling it all over the place because I cannot swatch at this angle. Then we are on to the Santa's Village palette. Now this was a limited edition release for holiday season. It was this past year that's just gone, isn't it? Yes, like I say, no concept of time since lockdown. Look at the packaging of this. It's absolutely beautiful. So, so stunning. Obviously I had to get it because I pick everything up from Nomad, to be honest. And with this being limited edition, absolutely. I loved the colour story of this. Now there are 4 mattes, the white, the grey, the red and the deep green. And then there are 4 shimmers in the, 5 shimmers, 4 shimmers in the corners, 1 in the middle. I think this is a stunning palette. Now these shimmers in this one was a little bit different to some in the other palettes, not as easy to pick up on a brush and apply on the eye, but once they are on, they are beautiful and they have gorgeous shifts. But which is my favourite shade in this? I'm gonna go with Winter Lights, which is down here, because that shade was actually one of the easier shimmers to pick up and I think it looks stunning. Absolutely stunning on the lid. This is making me want to use this palette again because that shade does make me extremely happy, and putting it next to that purple, oh, the reflex in this shimmer, oh, that's beautiful. I can see pink and blue reflex, and I can definitely see sort of a greeny blue. Stunning, stunning. Did I even show you it on my finger? Did I show you that? I don't know, but it's beautiful. Okay, then the next one blew my mind because I was very kindly gifted this from the owners of Nomad, and it is the Royal Europe palette, which is the newest release currently as I'm filming this, but I know they're coming out with something else at the end of May, and I am excited, as I am for every Nomad release, to be honest. But the packaging of this one may be my favourite now because it is 3D and it feels very bougie, and so it should because it is a Royal Europe palette, it's royal themed. It has 5 multi-chromes in this. Guys, like, if you think I'm going to be picking a matte from this palette, you are crazy. The fact that Nomad can put multi-chromes in a palette and still make the whole palette affordable and it's all amazing quality, smashing it. I think my favourite, like, I have multiple favourites in this palette, I'm not going to lie, but I think my absolute favourite is the Bleu de France, which is sort of it's definitely purple and it's definitely blue. And let me get it on my finger because then I can actually see it better. Sometimes if you have a curve with a multi-chrome, you can actually see the different reflex better. Yeah, I can see pink, purple and blue. It looks, okay, that's looking a lot different on camera to what I just saw on my finger. That is a lot more blue. You can see why that's my favourite shade from this palette. Got a nice collection going on here on my arm. I'm liking this, I'm liking this. Is it going to be a cohesive colour story at the end? Probably not. Then we have the gorgeous Monteverde Cloud Forest palette, and I love this palette. I did do multiple looks with this. I feel like I did 3 looks with this. This is absolutely stunning. This is me to a T. This might be my favourite colour story from them. It's very difficult to choose between this and the Royal Europe, but look at this. The colour in this. It's like a jungle theme, and it's like you've got the pops of colour for the different animals and different things in the vegetation, and I love it so much. I don't know, this is going to be so difficult to pick a favourite shade because, I mean, I'm a bright Technicolor lover and look at this palette. I feel like I did pick a favourite shade when I did the video with this and I can't remember what I picked, but my favourite shade that I'm going with is going to be Hanging Bridges, which is this one. It's like a green, a sort of grungy green, but it's got pink reflex in it. I'm not sure how well you're going to be seeing it on camera, but I just think it's a little bit different. It's a little bit yellowy, greeny, pinky. It's just stunning. I'll show you my arm properly at the end with a close-up because you're not seeing things great at the moment. Angles, it's all about angles. Then last but not least, the last 2 palettes that I have are the actual first 2 that I picked up from Nomad Cosmetics, which made me fall in love with the brand. Now this is the Whistler Snow Lodge palette, and when you see inside, if you haven't already, I mean, if you're going to be picking up any sort of winter palette, why not this one? This one has so much nice depth, it has some light tones, the shimmers are spectacular. The mattes, again, always reliable, blendable, gorgeous. Am I going to pick another shimmer from this? Actually, I think I'm going to pick Après Ski because I love a greeny sort of tealy shade, and I feel like this is like kind of leaning on a pastel-y green, but just look at this shade. Like this, I have a lot of colours like this in my kitchen. I am a sucker for a shade like this, and it is such a beautiful shade. It was very tempting actually to go in with Ski Bum, which is a blue shimmer with a pink reflect, but I don't know. Now I'm thinking, am I changing my mind? Which one? Which one, Kerry? Ooh. No, I'm going to stick to my first one, Après Ski, because I think it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, and last but by no means least, this is one of my favourite Nomad palettes. This is the Paradise Islands palette. I started really paying attention to Nomad when I saw this release and the colour story of it, because it is just stunning. Again, nice bright pops of colour, and I feel like I bought these two together because I felt like the depth I wanted was in this one, but the bright shades I wanted was in this one, so I feel like these are amazing companion palettes together. But this colour story in summer, you know, when you've got a bit of a tan going on and just looking at it again now, it's making me extremely happy. This is one of my favourite summer palettes, hands down, because this colour story is just goals, absolute goals. And I know my favourite shade in this is Tiki. It is a gorgeous sort of limey green shade, and like I said earlier, if you didn't know, green is my favourite eyeshadow colour. And look at this gorgeous green. It's sort of a limey, hint of yellowy, little bit leaning on chartreusey shade, which makes my heart very, oh, look at it, very happy. It's a gorgeous limey colour, and I did well not to pick all green shades. I'd just like to point that out right now. So this is the arm of happiness. And we just had that one random bright red in there, which is a little bit different. Sometimes I do like a bright red, but I think if you took out the bright red, maybe it would be more of a cohesive colour story if we were creating just a random Nomad palette from existing shades. But Nomad do sell single shades. Not every single shade that they've come out with in the palettes, but they do have a lot of singles on their site, especially the multi-chromes, if you want to check those out. I think I picked well. I am happy with my choices and all of the shades. Some of them were more difficult to pick than others because sometimes in a palette you've just got multiple favourites, especially when you're comparing a matte and a shimmer. It's like comparing apples and oranges. Like, how can you pick a favourite? Now, I don't actually think I have a Nomad Cosmetics palette ranking video. I know, right? I do rank a lot of my collection. So what have I ranked previously? I can't even remember. I've ranked my Beauty Bay palettes. So I got all of my Beauty Bay palettes out, ranked them from my least favourite to my absolute favourite. So I'm trying to go through all of my collection and do that when I've got quite a collection of one specific brand. And I definitely need to do that with Nomad because they are one of my favourite brands, like I say. I don't know whether to wait for the palette that's coming out in May though, so that I can include that one as well. I'm tempted to do that and maybe play around with these some more so that I'm absolutely 100% sure of my choices for that video, because I don't just like to do it flippantly, like, well, I'll stick this one here, stick this one here. I really like to put them where I feel like that they should go. But I hope I've shown you some nice colour stories today, told you a little bit about the brand if you didn't know, and we just had some fun swatching random shades on my arm that are my favourites from the palette. Please do let me know, do you have any of these palettes? Have you tried Nomad? Do you agree with any of these shades? Do you totally disagree? I'd love to know. Now's the fun part, trying to get all this delicious pigment off my arm. Like I said, these are pigmented shades, so... And I had no primer on my arm beforehand. Now, I usually say I will link everything that I am wearing on my face in the description box. I'm not going to do that today because, like I say, I'm having a bad makeup day. Up close, this is not a great look and everything just went wrong from start to finish. But I just wanted to film for you anyway because sometimes we do have bad makeup days and that's fine. Sometimes you still commit and put it all on and then regret it and look and think, yeah, it wasn't working out well for me today. But I still wanted to film this video. I'm super glad I did. I actually really enjoyed going through all of my Nomad palettes again, and it just makes me even more excited for the release that's coming out in May. Please do let me know if you would like me to rank my Nomad palettes, or if there's any other brands that you know I've got a lot of in my collection that I could rank. I do have a palette collection video that's around 3 hours long if you want some palette heaven in your life. I will try and remember to link that somewhere if you want to have a look at my collection, and then let me know in the comments which one you'd like to see a palette collection video on. Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. If you love all things makeup and beauty like I do, and you like indie brands, bright colourful shadows, and just playing around with makeup and having some fun and looking a little bit crazy, then why not subscribe? Because I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty much what you're getting on this channel. I will try and link as many of these palettes that I've talked about today down below in the description box so that you can go and check out Nomad Cosmetics if anything takes your fancy. All of my socials will be linked in the description box, and hopefully, guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.